Earth Maria and welcome to SC Global News. From the killing of a Catholic priest by armed robbers in Kenema, Sierra Leone, to the new initiative launched by Irish bishops aimed at boosting attendance at Sunday Mass, we have many stories to cover. Reverend Father Agustin Dauda Amadu, a Catholic priest from the Immaculate Conception Catholic Church in Kenema, has been confirmed dead by the Sierra Leone police. The attack took place in the early hours of Saturday, 30th August 2025, at his residence in Burma 3, a community on the outskirts of Kenema. Police reports indicate that unidentified armed men broke into the parish house by entering through a broken window. Father Amadu, who was living alone at that time, was assaulted and later found dead. Police have confirmed the death of Reverend Father Agustin Dauda Amadu, a Catholic priest serving at the Immaculate Conception Catholic Church in Kenema, a city in Sierra Leone, a country in West Africa. The incident took place in the early hours of Saturday, 30th August 2025, at his residence in Burma 3, located on the outskirts of Kenema. According to police reports, unknown armed individuals broke into the parish house by forcing their way through a damaged window. Father Amadu, who was living alone, was assaulted and later found dead. According to the statements released by Sierra Leone Police Department, at about 7:43 a.m., the police received a report from a Catholic parishioner that the priest had been attacked by unidentified armed men at the parish residence. The police team was promptly dispatched to the scene and Father Amadu's body was taken to Kenema Government Hospital mortuary for the post-mortem examination. It is still unknown whether any property was taken during the incident. While no arrests have been made so far, several parishioners and church officials who arrived for the early morning service are currently providing statements to assist the investigation. The Sierra Leone police have assured the public, particularly the Catholic community, that a comprehensive investigation is ongoing to identify and bring the perpetrators to justice. The Sierra Leone police are calling on the public to remain calm and to assist law enforcement by sharing timely and reliable information that could aid the ongoing investigation. Authorities have stated that additional updates will be released as more details become available. Local officials reported on Monday, September 1st, that a powerful 6-magnitude earthquake struck eastern Afghanistan near the Pakistan border, leaving hundreds feared dead. The quake, which hit around midnight local time in Jalalabad region, authorities have confirmed that over 800 people lost their lives and thousands more were injured across the provinces of Kunar, Nangarhar, Laghman and Nuristan. Emergency airlifts transported the injured to hospitals in Jalalabad and Kabul, where overwhelmed medical teams struggled to treat the large number of casualties. A powerful magnitude 6 earthquake struck eastern Afghanistan near the Pakistan border late Sunday night, leaving hundreds feared dead and many more injured, according to authorities. Rescue teams are currently searching through the rubble of collapsed homes in a desperate effort to find survivors. Initial reports from the health ministry indicated that at least 30 people were killed in a single village. However, the full scale of the disaster remains unclear due to the remote and scattered nature of the affected area. The health ministry spokesperson Sharafat Saman shared that the number of the casualties and injuries is high, but their teams are still on the ground as the region is difficult to access. Sadiqullah Qureshi Badloon, a communications official from Nangarhar province, told the New York Times that 250 people were reported dead, with the majority of fatalities occurring in neighboring Kunar province. He added that 9 people were confirmed dead in Nangarhar itself. According to the BBC, multiple sources in Kunar province claim that hundreds are dead, with many more suffering injuries. The earthquake struck at 11:47 p.m. local time and was centered 27 kilometers northeast of Jalalabad in the Nangarhar province, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. It occurred at a shallow depth of just 8 kilometers, which typically results in more severe surface damage. Just 20 minutes after the initial tremor, a second earthquake with a magnitude of 4.5 struck the the same province. According to Najibullah Hanif, head of provincial information, hundreds of injured individuals have already been transported to hospitals, with the number expected to rise as reports continue to arrive from remote regions lacking proper road access. Afghanistan is highly susceptible to devastating earthquakes, especially in the Hindu Kush mountain range, where the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates collide. Last year, in the country's western region, a series of earthquakes claimed the lives of more than 1,000 people, highlighting the extreme vulnerability of one of the world's poorest nations to natural disasters. Father Dennis Seheran, pastor of Annunciation Church in Minneapolis, described the terrifying moments during the all-school mass as gunfire erupted on Wednesday, August 27th. 4 days after, the church, now scarred by violence, was closed. The adjacent school auditorium opened its doors to more than 400 people on August 30th. The gathering was filled with emotion, tears, embraces, quiet conversations, and even a few smiles as community came together.
Following the August 27 shooting tragedy that killed 2 students, the Annunciation Catholic Church in Minneapolis will be reconsecrated before Holy Mass resumes. Archbishop Bernard Hebda told OSV News that it would be the first time he will be reconsecrating a church, and it would take some time as the church was still a crime scene. According to canon law, sacred places violated by gravely injurious actions are not permitted to carry on worship in them until a penitential rite repairs the damage. Sacraments can be celebrated in such places once the rite of reconsecration has been carried out. The shooting attack by former student Robin Westman killed Fletcher Merkel, 8, and Harper Moisky, 10, and injured 15 children and 3 elderly people in their 80s. Westman died from a self-inflicted gunshot. Investigators are analyzing a hate-riddled online manifesto posted by the shooter and other evidence to determine a clear motive for the violence. The Catholic Community Foundation of Minnesota has set up a charitable fund to provide financial support to Annunciation Church and School, as well as those affected by the tragedy. As the now desecrated church remains closed, Holy Mass is celebrated at the parish school auditorium. Archbishop Hebda celebrated a Mass with the parish priest, Father Dennis Seheran, last Sunday, which was attended by more than 400 people. According to Father Seheran, Masses had been held at the high school auditorium for decades before the new church was built in 1961.
Hundreds of thousands of Australians protested across major cities against the Labor government's high migrant intake policies, citing concerns over housing shortages, infrastructure strain, and cultural integration issues, with rallies turning violent in Melbourne due to clashes with counter-protesters, including pro-Palestine groups.
Hundreds of thousands of Australians lined up in the main squares of the country's major cities to protest against the Labor government's policy of increased migrant intake, particularly from Asian and African countries. Protesters waving Australian flags across party lines took part in the rallies, which the Australian government condemned as racist and as events that have no place in modern Australian history. The organizers of the rallies stated that their motivation was the growing display of anti-Australian sentiment, citing instances of migrants, notably of Arab origin, failing to follow the customs of the host country. The coalition of organizers also argued that the current Labor government's policies, coupled with the unprecedented intake of migrants, have caused a severe housing shortage across Australia. The rallies in cities such as Hobart and Melbourne, which initially began as peaceful, turned violent when the gatherings were met with counter-protests comprising Hamas supporters. In Adelaide, police estimated that 15,000 people were present at a rally, while in Melbourne, rallies drew hundreds of thousands of participants. Australia is now experiencing an unprecedented rise in migration. In the year 2022-23, a record number of 500,000 migrants, including refugees, entered the country. The current Labour government justifies this migration policy as a means of offsetting the shrinking native population, but it has in turn contributed to rising housing prices and an infrastructure shortage.
A live musical performance celebrating the life of Saint Teresa of Calcutta titled Journey of Faith, a musical tribute to Mother Teresa, will take center stage at the Music Center at Strathmore in Washington, D.C. on September 6th. The show highlights her ministry, courage, and faith following a successful debut at Carnegie Hall in New York.
A live musical performance celebrating St. Teresa of Calcutta will take place at the Music Center at Strathmore in Washington, D.C. on September the 6th, following a successful performance at Carnegie Hall in New York, Catholic News Agency reports. Journey of Faith, a musical tribute to Mother Teresa, honors the legacy of the saint, particularly her service to the underprivileged through the missionaries of charity. Conducted by Dante Santiago Anzolini, the performance showcases the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra alongside baritone Sean Michael Plum and soprano Catherine Wethington, who curated the program. The first half highlights her ministry to the sick and dying, and the second half explores her childhood, work in India, and Catholic faith. The concert draws inspiration from Wethington's 2019 visit to Macedonia, the hometown of the saint, and her performances of Divine Waltz, Hymn to Mother Teresa, a piece composed by young Chukichi for the saint's canonization. Wethington explained that the show celebrates Mother Teresa's journey, courage, and lasting impact, emphasizing perseverance, faith, and compassion, and inspiring audiences to follow her message of love and service. The performance signifies the spiritual legacy of the saint, with Catholic News Agency noting that it blends sacred and secular works to highlight pivotal moments of her life and mission.
Pope Leo XIV urged the faithful to see the church as a school of humility and welcoming home for all during his Sunday Angelus address at St. Peter's Square. He reflected on Luke's Gospel, emphasizing humility, authentic encounter, and listening to the Lord. The Pope encouraged believers to set aside rivalries and strive for fraternity in daily life.
Pope Leo XIV addressed pilgrims during the Angelus at St. Peter's Square on Sunday, emphasizing that the church should always be a school of humility and a home where all are welcome, according to Vatican News. He reflected on Luke's Gospel reading, in which Jesus attends a meal at a leading Pharisee's house, teaching lessons in humility and respectful conduct. The Pope explained that a genuine encounter is not always easy, noting that Jesus was observed with suspicion by rigid interpreters of tradition. He humbly attended the event, offering a parable on people rushing to the places of honor, which illustrates competition over fraternity, Vatican News reported. Believers were encouraged to listen to the Lord and see themselves through his eyes, reflecting on how focusing on personal recognition or comparison with others can distract from God's priorities. Humility, the Pope noted, allows true freedom, shifting attention from self to the kingdom of God. The Holy Father concluded by asking the faithful to pray that the Church remain a school of humility, a home where rivalries are left behind, and a place where Jesus teaches imitation of his selflessness and freedom. He invoked Mary as the mother of that home, encouraging prayers for her guidance in fostering inclusion and humility.
The Irish Catholic Bishops' Conference has launched a new initiative aimed at encouraging those who have stopped attending Sunday Mass in recent years to return to in-person worship. As part of the effort, the bishops have released a pastoral message and a video series inviting the faithful back to church. In his message, Bishop Dennis Nulty emphasized the importance of Sunday in the life of church, calling it the heart of Christian practice and a tradition that remains central to the faith community.
The Irish Catholic Bishops' Conference has launched an initiative to encourage the faithful to return to Sunday Mass in person. Bishop Dennis Nulty of Kildare and Leone, on behalf of Bishops' Conference, presented the pastoral message, Why Sunday Matters, an invitation to reflect on Sunday Mass during the 10:30 a.m. Mass on August the 31st at the Cathedral of the Assumption of Blessed Virgin Mary, Carlow. In his homily, Bishop Nulty reminded the faithful, Mass is a reenactment of the death and resurrection of Jesus, first celebrated at the Last Supper, which we participate in on the Lord's Day. He asked them to ponder what had replaced the Sunday worship and how it could be reprioritized. The bishop emphasized that attending Sunday Mass was not just an obligation, but a profound privilege and a chance to experience God's love in a deeply personal way. In a video message leading up to the launch, Bishop Nulty noted that COVID-19 disrupted the people's traditional practice and habit of attending Mass, and that not all had returned to the church after the pandemic. The bishop recognized that many Catholics have also been discouraged by the abuse scandals. Besides a 4-page resource, the bishops have released a video series appealing to those not attending Sunday Mass to return in person. Mass attendance in Ireland dropped significantly over the past quarter century. A survey conducted by the Irish analytics and data company Amarash in 2023 found that before the COVID lockdown and church closures, only 24% of Ireland's population attended weekly Mass. After the pandemic, Mass attendance rate plummeted even lower, and now only about 14% of Irish Catholics regularly attend Sunday Mass.
That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.